Oh, it's a beautiful afternoon and we're having a dinner party tonight. And so I wanted to turn right away to my Pop It in the Toaster Oven cookbook, which you can buy anywhere, by the way. And if you don't have a toaster oven, why not? You should have a toaster oven. They're a wonderful thing to have. In this cookbook on page 68, I have a recipe called Asparagus Ronald. I want to explain why. I write, the recipe comes from Ronald, my aerobics instructor of many years ago, and it really was many years ago, who attributed his energy and agility to eating asparagus 3 times a week. And he gave me this recipe, which is to show you how to make Asparagus Ronald. And like so many recipes in my cookbook, it's basically just putting the ingredients together, putting it in a pan, and then popping it in the toaster oven. So I have to explain here also that this recipe is to really serve 4 people, and it consists of 20 asparagus spears. Well, there's going to be 6 people at this dinner party, and so I have probably a total of 55 spears of asparagus here, in which case I have doubled and halved the recipe. So, for instance, instead of 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, I have 3. 3 tablespoons of lemon juice is 5, and so on. So there's just a few ingredients here, and now I'm going to show you what to assemble. But before I do, I'm going to preheat my toaster oven to 400 degrees. Now, here are the beautiful asparagus spears, and they have been rinsed and trimmed. And when I trim these, actually I take a knife and I start at the very, very end, and then I work towards the head of the asparagus, and I can feel with the knife when it starts getting tender, and then I cut it. So you can kind of test it with a knife, like this. Cut it like this, start out here, and then as it starts getting tender, then cut it. That way you use most of the asparagus spears, and it's a good way to cut each individual one because each one is different. You'll notice if you do this that some are stockier than others and will have to be cut shorter. So there's my asparagus spears, all 55, some of them. And I've put them in a 9x9, just a regular baking pan. You could use a casserole pan as well. Okay, here's my assembled ingredients. And what I have here is 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And this I like, just a standard, you can also use tamari, but just a standard soy sauce. Then here I have 5 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. Here are 5 tablespoons of olive oil, and I like the cold press. And then for finishing, and this goes on after the asparagus is cooked, I have 5 tablespoons of crumbled low-fat feta cheese. And then I thought I would just augment this recipe. It's not in the cookbook, but I had some pecan pieces. And I put 4 tablespoons of pecan pieces in here, which I will be adding to cook with the asparagus. And then I have fresh pepper, which I'm going to grate on, and then you can do that to taste if you want. Okay, so now I'm just going to add all the ingredients like this. That's the soy sauce, the lemon juice, the pecan pieces, and the olive oil. And I'm going to grate some pepper. And then I'm just going to mix this around like this. Make sure that every spear is coated. And then I'm just going to cover the pan with some aluminum foil. Okay, and my toaster oven is up to temperature to 400. In goes the pan. And then I'm going to be setting the timer for 35 minutes. And after 35 minutes, I'll just take it out and check. I want to make sure that the asparagus is cooked well. Well, there's my Asparagus Ronald, and it was 35 minutes, and you know, they are all cooked, which is very interesting because the recipe was originally for 20 spears of asparagus, and I have over 50 here, and they're done just beautifully. And as you can see, nothing was steamed, nothing was boiled. The juices have melded with the asparagus, and what I'm going to do, even though I'm not going to serve this right away, I'm going to sprinkle the feta cheese over the asparagus right now, so it's all done. And then I think when my guests come later, I will just heat it up in the toaster oven for a few minutes. Oh boy, yum. So what you have here is the full flavor of the asparagus. It has not been compromised by steaming, frying, or boiling. It's all in there, and all of the nutrients are in there. Nothing has been leached out. The soy sauce and lemon give it a nice little tang, as well as the feta cheese. But you know, the asparagus is sweet. So it's this wonderful combination of biting into something that is sweet and then getting this kind of lemony feta cheese finish. You should try this recipe. There are so many wonderful vegetable recipes in Pop It in the Toaster Oven, and this, thanks to Ronald, is one of them.